Show. The Tim and James Show. The Tim and James Show. Yeah. 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 Come on. Yeah. Don't fuck with me. Yeah. The Tim and James Show. You hear what I'm crazy? I don't give a fuck. I'm Tim and James. I don't give a fuck if I'm thinking any name. I'm Tim and James. I don't give a fuck about what you say. I'm Tim and James. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a damn. I'm Tim and James. I'm Tim and James. I'm Tim and James. I'm Tim and James. I'm Tim and James.
Hello guys. Where's the microphone? Hello guys. I'm gonna have to start that again. No, I'm not. Never mind. Yeah, I had the microphone sitting under my ass. And never mind. A few episodes, probably not last episode, but the episode before. About that I did about The Room. The movie, The Room, and how I talked about Tommy Wiseau and all that. Well, you might remember me talking about there was this podcast episode that I found. And it was basically, pretty interesting because it's this guy who claims to be the real director of The Room. And saying that Tommy Wiseau wrote it and produced it and all that, but he didn't direct it. And yeah, I'll just play. I'll only be able to play a little bit of it because can only go for 45 minutes, and I've already wasted most of that time. So yeah, I'll just play a little bit, but here it is, The Truth Behind The Room, which is what it's called. And yeah, enjoy.
You are listening to Proudly Resents, the cult movie podcast.
To all you Proudly Resent listeners out there, just remember, you can't piss on hospitality. I want it.
Good? All right, cool. We're here with Sandy Sclair, here on Proudly Resents. I'm Adam Spiegelman. Sandy is professional script supervisor for many years and worked on many shows and movies. And the strangest one is, I guess, The Room, which turned into a phenomenon. And also somehow you became the director. We'll find out how you doing.
It is probably the funniest and most bizarre experience of my life. Quite easily. It all began 8 years ago when I got a telephone call from
we'll pause that for a minute. Doesn't he just sound like your typical Hollywood director? That's my opinion anyway. Let's just get back to it.
A cameraman, a shooter of many, many, many years named Raphael Smadja. Raphael and I had done a few commercials together, a few things. He knows I have also directed a lot of second unit stuff and a few shorts, and I've been doing this for 25 odd years now. So I get a call from Raphael that he knew I had wrapped a project and you've got to get your butt down to Burns & Sawyer, a camera prep house, immediately. I'm like, dude, I'm relaxed. I'm home. I'm done. Nope, get down to Burns & Sawyer immediately. So I trot on down to Burns & Sawyer, in Hollywood. And I walk in, and there's Raphael. I need you here bad. You got to hang on. You're going to meet a man named Tommy Wiseau. Now, have you ever been in the prep room at Burns & Sawyer?
Where is that, in Los Angeles?
Well, at the time it was on La Brea. It's not anymore. When you go into the equipment room, there's the front store, but the equipment room has these bays where various crews that are gearing up for features and whatnot will start stockpiling lenses, equipment. There are 4 groups in there gearing up for shooting features, and I pretty much know everybody there from other projects. When you get older, you kind of know everybody. So they're all, hey, I'm greeting everybody. Hey, Sandy. Hey, Ron, Paul, John. How you guys doing? And in walks Tommy Wiseau. His skin white as that piece of paper. His hat pulled down so low I can't even see his eyes, with the craziest accent that you have ever heard. And as I was speaking to him, we were lined up in such a way that I'm talking to Tommy, and right behind Tommy and out of Tommy's eye line is Raphael. And Raphael is in the background with hands clasped together, just going, please, 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 please. Now, every guy in there is now watching this because nobody does this in the prep room at Burns & Sawyer. So everybody's
What is he
watching.
doing?
Everybody's just watching me interview this strange-looking man who talked funny. And it's just like that article they did on me in Entertainment Weekly. Tommy is, what do you do? Well, I'm a script supervisor. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. Oh, we need you to do that. Everybody starts laughing. The entire room breaks up laughing. Tommy, oblivious to all of it. He's the only one not getting the joke. And I'm like, well, yeah, I think you do. Anybody that shoots does. And then he adds, could you also please tell the actors what to do? Design the shots and say action and cut and, basically everything that a director does. And the room, you could have heard a pin drop in there at this point. I'm like, you want me to direct this for you? And his first response is, oh, no, I am director. Sounds like Tommy, yes?
Right.
And then I'm looking at him, and everybody's waiting, and I said, you want me to direct this for you? Yes, please. So, okay, fine. When do you start shooting? Half hour. Okay. And there's Raphael behind Tommy out of the island going, please, 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 please. Like, fine. The room cracks up laughing. Question number 1, I'm a Hollywood professional. Question number 1, how much are you going to pay me to do this? I will pay you $70 a day. The room absolutely busts up laughing. I mean, these guys are practically peeing themselves. It's so odd. And I said, well, bye. See you later. I'm out the door. No, wait. You must come back. How much do you want? I'll tell you what. Why don't you put a 0 behind that, and we'll begin discussing the situation. So much money. Yes. And it's actually not very much money at all for me to direct this. And especially in a half hour. So we get ready to go, and I said, do you have a script? No script. I have these 3 pages. So the bottom line here is I never had a script. There was never a script. What I would get is a few pages at a time. 3 or 4 pages at a time with no page numbers, no slug lines, which are what the scenes are, no action descriptions, nothing. Just a series of character names with dialogue that made, I'm sorry, Tommy, but it made no sense whatsoever. So the first thing I did whenever I got pages was not rewrite at all, but to at least put it in some sort of structure that could be understood. They may be saying very bizarre things, but at least now the bizarre things will have a noun, a verb, a predicate, a beginning, a middle, an end, and a period at the end of the sentence. Otherwise, it made as much sense as a water bottle, walkie-talkie, television stand. It made no sense at all. Sorry, Tommy. But that is the truth. So, okay. 3 pages. And half hour. Where are we going to shoot this? Raphael opens up the back door. Lo and behold, behind Burns & Sawyer is a tiny little soundstage. The size of a room. Get it? Get it? The room. Okay. So I get the room, and where are my actors? Is this the apartment? It's all the same thing. There was just this one little space. Yeah, the apartment. Yeah, break in with a question anytime. So, and scattered around in front of it is an entire low-budget film crew. I would also like to add, they were the nicest, most wonderful film crew you could have. Very few were experienced, but their hearts were pure, their intent is there, and whatever quirk of the gods in the universe plopped them down. They're, here in LA, everybody's trying to start a career. They were wonderful, they were hardworking, their motives were fabulous. They were terrific people who were trying, for the most part, to start a career. Basically, really only Raphael and I had any experience whatsoever. I had a sound mixer that for the first couple of weeks we couldn't really roll sound right away because he's reading the manual. I got a boom operator who keeps slamming the boom into the walls. I never enjoyed myself more, and I laughed my behind off every single day. So where are my actors? 6 wonderful youngsters, most who had never really acted before. But their intent was pure. Okay, fine, I'll direct this. As long as these checks keep clearing. I had no idea. Apparently, checks will always clear. So, all right, so we walk in, I got the first 3 pages, and we start shooting the room. The first thing I had to do was fire the first AD. Not fire, his assistant Greg, who is a wonderful human being, Greg Sestero. Greg was working as a first AD, but had never been a first AD. So on a project that small, the easiest thing you can do, I will direct it and first AD it at the same time because it's small enough that I can control that. Because a first AD is really relaying the instructions of the director to prep the next scene, to get the next people ready. I only have one set. So all I have to do is lean out of the set door and yell across the parking lot, get them ready for such and such, and then move back on set. That's all there was to it. And then we started the shoot. I got a million stories. What's your...
what was the first scene that you shot?
I can't remember. But amongst the earliest scenes, I'll clear up a few issues. Amongst the earliest scenes was a small scene where Lisa and Tommy drop back on the couch. They're a little tipsy. You know the scene?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a pizza box on the table. Tommy kept breaking the glasses. And on that scene, all he has to do is turn to her and kiss her on the cheek. What I saw on take 1 on the monitor, and I really don't want to get into those kind of little details, was so horrific to me that I decided at that moment that I would never direct this man in a love scene. Ever.
Were you in that?
Ever. So I knew Tommy had planned 2 love scenes for himself. I just pushed him to the last day. Now, Tommy said in this article and at other times, well, he quit the project. Yes and no. I directed every single day of that project right up until the last day. And on the very last day, I quit. I am not going to direct him in a love scene. And having seen the 2 love scenes, I am so glad I wasn't there. I have the young man, Denny, I just want to watch. That's perverse. So it's so bizarre. And Tommy had reminded us all frequently how perfect his behind was. And I just knew it would be a day of Tommy walking around naked on set all day, which is exactly what happened. And it's extremely unprofessional, and I didn't want to be there for that. Instead, on that day, and actually I quit the day before, told him I'd get him a director. He said, no, we'll take care of it. And apparently nobody did. What I ended up doing on that day was working with Janusz Kaminski, starting a project. And here's a man with 2 Oscars and shoots for Spielberg. Tommy's naked ass, Spielberg. No contest.
So the scene you were talking about where he falls down and he's supposed to kiss her.
Yeah.
What is he just went way over the top? Is that what you're saying? More than kissing?
Way over the Jupiter, Mars. It was beyond over the top. It was
Kissing her, he was whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get details, but you're...
No.
Okay.
Suffice to say, I don't think tongues belong on cameras in close-ups.
Right. Okay.
Okay, that's all I got to say about that.
And what about in that scene, why are they drinking vodka and mixing it with scotch, which they call
The answer
Scotch
to many of your questions are going to be, I have no idea. There were so many things, I have no idea. I shot this whole project with a practically a crane dolly. It wasn't, because Tommy required a 35 millimeter Arri BL film camera, fixed in place, next to a Panasonic HD tape camera. I have no idea why.
One's HD, one's film.
One is a tape camera, one is a film camera. They are mounted in fixed positions side by side.
Now, did you tell Tommy this is a terrible idea? Did you...
I just said, I don't understand. Why are we doing this? Don't ask. It will make sense later. Of course, it never made any sense whatsoever. And I have no idea.
And is the framing off?
Try and go in for a close-up when you have two cameras. You
Right.
can't. So basically, I just shot it for the 35mm camera and ignored the HD, and eventually the HD went away. But for a long time, this made no sense at all.
So how do you light for both cameras?
You can and can't. But you can't really. However, the cameras are close enough together that the light will match. However, they have different formats. So I lit for the 35mm camera and ignored the HD. I'm sure that nothing from that ever got used. I mean, I still don't understand why it was there.
Did you frame it for 35 and let the other camera just...
Yes.
Okay, I was wondering how...
Okay, and that's another thing. I directed this. Why am I coming forward? Well, Entertainment Weekly found me. I believe the response is, we knew there was a guy like you out there somewhere because Tommy couldn't have done this. I don't want to take anything... Well, I want to take something away from Tommy. The only thing being, he did not direct this. What is my motivation? I haven't asked him for one extra penny. I haven't gone to him for any money, but I do get very annoyed at liars. He has spent the last 8 years lying that he directed this movie. He did not. What did I not direct? Well, his two love scenes on the last day, thank God, and his San Francisco second unit. They sent a unit up there. They ended up grabbing, I think, a yogurt shop and a flower shop, pretty much the same. What is that? Hi Doggy, that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene. It's lit bad, frame bad, shot bad, horrible. I have no idea what happened. And then the second unit stuff for the San Francisco exteriors, which we would put on the green screen for the rooftop. Everybody loves to talk about the rooftop.
Well, did you shoot the rooftop?
Of course.
And what?
I shot everything in that movie. Now, Tommy had mentioned in the article, well, maybe he was my assistant. This is bullshit. I was never his assistant. I'll say that into the mic. Never assisted Tommy once. Now, if a producer wants to get involved with the direction, he sits on set behind the producer and makes comments. Tommy never, ever, ever sat on set behind me giving me comments, instruction, nothing. The only time Tommy was ever on set was to act. Never. One word about direction, not one word about what the scenes, how they would be played, nothing. This was all my creativity and what I did. And I'm not looking to make, well, if the movie's making millions, there should be something, but nothing.
Well, the movie's making a lot of money, but it's rumored that it's cost $6 million to be made.
I have no idea about the money.
No.
None.
Not where it came from?
I'm not going to take anything away from Tommy like that. Tommy did produce it. Tommy did force the issue. Tommy also put a billboard up on Highland or La Brea, wherever that was, for 5 years, which probably, just like you remember Angeline?
Right.
Right. The billboard sits there for 5 years. Eventually people are going, who the hell's the guy on the billboard?
That's how I found the movie.
Which will lead to the movie, which will lead... Tommy, I guess, was paying Lemley to play it at midnight screenings. I don't know.
It sells out Fridays and Saturday nights, all 5 theaters.
Amazing.
Midnight.
Still?
Still.
So if the movie's making money, I mean, I suppose the director's entitled to something.
Right.
Right. I directed the whole movie.
Have you talked to the DGA? Is it?
Well, it's a non-DGA movie. It's a non-union. So if I were to go after money, which I haven't even determined this. You know, I did talk to one lawyer because Tommy has not answered an email or a telephone call of mine in 8 years. Apparently, because I left on the last day, he hates me. Well, too bad. The reality is I directed his movie for him. Now, what you see in this movie are takes 5, 6, 10, 15. That's not Tommy. I mean, the first and action. Take 1, Lisa, you are tearing me apart. No. Bigger. Take 2. Bigger. Take 3. Bigger. Now, what was I doing? I was making, and the watchword you should always hold in your head, I'm making a movie nobody's ever going to see. This is my mindset. We do this in Hollywood all the time. I got hired and picked up on a project. I'm having the time of my life making the most bizarre thing I have ever been involved with. Tuxedos on football players? Are you kidding me? I don't know. So I am making the most bizarre project of my entire life and having a great time doing it, but don't ask me to find sense in any of it. Life handed me lemons, and this was the biggest lemon of all, and I'm making a movie nobody would ever see. Who knew that this would happen? So my approach then is, okay, fine. I've been hired by the spoiled rich kid, not Tommy. Others in my career, we all have. Every guy in Hollywood has. Where you end up making something that, some crappy zombie movie or whatever, that nobody's ever going to see because some kid's got a couple $1 million of his dad's money. And I thought, this movie will be my homage to those people. I would direct every scene so far over the top, the actors would need oxygen just to get through it.
Now, why is that? Because the actors...
Because it would be funny.
Yeah.
And I'm having a great time with my DP. The Plastic Spoons is a perfect example. You know, before I get into that, a friend of mine, I spent a couple years shooting in Eastern Europe. A lot of my career has been international. And I had been gone for a couple years shooting in Bulgaria and Croatia and Turkey. And I step off a plane, and the second night I'm home, I get a phone call from a very good friend who's a director. He says, dude, you have got to get down to Hollywood right now. Why? You remember that stupid movie you made? Yeah. Well, there's a line about a mile long to get into it. What? Jump into my car. It's 1 a.m. Jump into my car, drive down into Hollywood. I tell the person at the booth, you know, you're showing the movie that I directed. Can I just go in the back? They freak out like I'm Scorsese or something. Not. I stand in the back row, and I am amazed, horrified, hypnotized. Half the audience is wearing the same costumes as the actors. They're all repeating the dialogue like Rocky Horror. And then the spoons. And half the audience stands up and starts throwing plastic silverware at the screen, at which point I turned around and ran for my car. Now, there were 2 DPs on this. Raphael was probably there just to start the shooting process and keep Tommy from returning all the equipment he bought and let the 30 days go by because Raphael probably owed Burns and Sawyer a favor. I'm just guessing. I have no idea.
But that's how it works.
But that's sometimes.
Yeah,
everything you can think of works like that. So when Raphael decided to leave, I brought in a friend of mine, Graham Futerfas, who finished shooting it out. Now, Raphael, this is a very experienced shooter. A wonderful man who has shot all over the world making beautiful projects. For Raphael, after 1 day of shooting, this is a 4x4 floppy flag. You know, you open it up, it drops down. I had to build him a 4x4 floppy house just outside the stage with his own little monitor to watch what we were doing because every time I yelled action, he would start laughing so hard, I had no soundtrack. There were things that happened. You would expect Rod Serling to step out somewhere and go, submitted for your approval. The weirdest film ever made. Okay, so I'm directing everything, amping it all up over the top. I am panning across mother and daughter, and there's an empty table. Like, empty table. Okay, no. Props. Do you have anything I can put on that table? We don't have anything. Those picture frames, what's in those? Well, it's still the marketing shots of the plastic silverware. Fine, put them on the table. The camera just panned across them. That's all it was. There's nothing deep. There's nothing meaningful. It was just me screwing around with my DP.
Because the props didn't have anything better to put in there.
Nothing. And leave the marketing in because I'm making a movie nobody's ever going to see.
Right.
Who cares? We left it in. And then for a couple of days, Graham was having fun. We would just keep panning off the silverware because it was funny. Yeah, silverware. Stop doing that. And then we moved on.
You made notes.
Of course I made notes. Okay. I did this. Yeah, why I directed it.
What about the blocking when Denny walks in and then he sits down on the floor?
Which scene?
It's like every scene.
Denny's character never made any sense to me whatsoever. In fact, a lot of these scenes never made any sense to me whatsoever. The football scene, they were all trying on tuxedos. I have no idea why. Most of the time, things would happen. I would have absolutely no idea why. And just go with it. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever.
So one day they're wearing tuxedos.
They're tuxedos, and Tommy says, oh, they should play football. Why would they play football in their tuxedos? Oh, they should play football. And then he walks away. Fine. Have them play football. But the camera angles, the things that are making it interesting, funny, these are mine. I decide where this camera goes, not Tommy. And this is throughout this entire project. I place the cameras. I decide the lenses. I decide the shots. I decide how we're going to view it. 1950s melodrama. Everything is shot in profile. Long masters lead the way. Who cares? And that's pretty much how I did it. There were so many bits of dialogue. I have breast cancer, but that's another story. Are you kidding me? And I go to Tommy. Tommy, breast cancer is not funny. This is a very sensitive topic. We should not have this in the movie. Oh, but Sandy, this is a very serious scene. What do you say to that? Yeah, okay, fine, breast cancer, whatever.
But they never bring it up again.
No, of course not. So many things are never, ever. What does she say at one point? Those fuckers at work? What work? Who? At the very end of the movie, I got a party scene where Lisa and Mark, I can't remember the other character, Lisa and Mark are making out, and then this guy appears from nowhere.
Yeah.
And starts yelling at them and lecturing them. A character I have never seen before. I go up to Tommy. Who is this character? Oh, that's Johnny's best friend. He's been out of town until now. Okay, fine. The best friend with no name is going, fine, okay. Making a movie nobody's ever going to see. I'm having fun. That's all.
Because the guy just shows up.
He's just there. Yeah, this is his character. Remember, I don't have a script, so I never know what's coming. Imagine. Here's 3 pages.
What about the scene where Peter, the guy with the glasses and the suit that's too big,
Yeah,
the
the psychologist.
Did he quit the movie?
No,
No.
he only had that scene.
And then the football.
Yeah, in the football.
I always
Never
thought
made
the-
any sense. Where did he come from? What is his position? How do these knows these characters?
He makes more sense than the guy in the party.
Right.
I always thought he quit and you replaced him with the guy in the
No.
party.
Just another character. There were so many of them. I even wrote some of them down at one point. Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. We definitely don't want to talk
No,
about
let's talk about that.
No, we don't want to talk about that. Yeah. Oh, her first husband, Harold. Mom had breast cancer. Mom is divorcing Edward. Who the hell is Edward? The fuckers at work. Mark's ex-girlfriend, Betty. I don't know Betty. It is, I'm sorry, Tommy, but it is horribly, horribly written. Characters that make no sense. But still, part of the fun of this movie is the bizarre dialogue. Tommy wrote it. I fixed it, but Tommy wrote it. Not taking that away from him. Tommy produced it, not taken away from him. Tommy was the lead actor, actor in quotes, not taking that away from him. But he didn't direct one frame of this project until they did San Francisco.
What about there's a scene where out of the blue there's 2 characters that come into the room, a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and he takes off his sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm directing it. I don't know. All right, the rooftop scene. Everybody loves the rooftop scene. Tommy comes to me in the middle of all of this. Sandy, I need a scene where they are on the rooftop in San Francisco. Say what? I got one little room here behind Burns and Sawyer. I need this scene. Okay. The only way I could see to do it with the money and the situation we were in is I just built a rooftop out in the Burns and Sawyer parking lot, lined it with green screen, and I figured we'll shoot it up and then they can shoot the plates in San Francisco and lay it in on the green screen, and we have a rooftop in San Francisco. And we will build an attic doorway, which is what Tommy steps through, big tall doorways. So we're doing the scene. Oh, I did not hit there. Oh, hi, Mark. Seems simple. You're looking at probably take 26. Seems simple. Take 1. We stuff Tommy into the rooftop doorway. Action. Tommy opens up the rooftop doorway, slams his head into the transom across the top, knocks himself to the ground. I now have an actor with a crease in his forehead. He's a little groggy. We wait, the water, medic, take care of Tommy. You ready? Yes. Take 2. Stuff him into the doorway. The exact same thing happens. Slams his head in the transom again and hits the pavement. Okay. When Tommy comes to, we'll try take 3. Take 3. Tommy steps through the door, and I'm doing this from 7 and 8-year-old memory, by the way, but it's fairly accurate. Take 3. Tommy steps through the doorway. I did not hit Sandy. Yeah, Tommy. I am angry. I must throw something. Angry people throw things? Yes. Insight into Tommy. Angry people apparently throw things. Okay. I lean over. I kid you not. I grab a water bottle from a PA, And at the Tommy, here, throw this. Take 4. Stuff Tommy into the rooftop doorway. Action. Tommy steps through. And by the way, from takes 4 till 25 or whatever we ended up on, every time Tommy came through the door, he would hunch over, crane his head, and look up at the transom to make sure he wouldn't hit his head. Watch it again. You'll see, whoa, like that. He comes through the doorway. I did not hit her. I did not hit her. Hi, Mark. Looking down at the ground and throws the water bottle, knocking a planter off the set. Crash. No shooting till this is all cleaned up. Meantime, I can't use the shot anyway because the camera is shaking so much because the operator is laughing so hard he cannot hold the camera steady anymore. Fine. I'm screaming with laughter. And Raphael or Graham is wherever they're at, everybody is laughing. The only person not laughing is Tommy. Be very clear about this. We're having the time of our lives, making the funniest thing I have ever worked on. Tommy is making high drama. They said that in the article. Tommy, you contradicted me, but you know this is true. You have been lying about this for years. He was doing drama, melodrama, and he thought this was the greatest piece of drama ever made. It is only after this big giant 8 years of hoopla and everything that came with it, people are going, the funniest thing ever, that he now says, this is a comedy. Tommy was never, ever, ever making a comedy. He was making drama. We were doing Gone with the Wind. Not.
Well, the trailer says it. The trailer says a drama of Tennessee Williams proportion, and at the end it says black comedy.
Added.
Yeah, added.
Tommy never got the idea that it was a comedy. Everybody else did. So, take 5. I'm back on the rooftop. Tommy comes through the doorway. I did not hit her. Throws the water bottle and presents me with a problem I could not solve for 20 more takes. The problem is he would go, oh, hi, Mark, and then look up. Now, if you walk onto a rooftop with your eyes straight down, going, I did not hit her, and by the way, I have no idea what hitting he is talking about. I did not hit her. He looks up, and then you would go, oh, there is my friend, and I would then say, hi, Mark. The issue is, how do I make Tommy look up before he says, hi, Mark? Sounds simple. Not. Take after take. Oh, hi, Mark. And then look up. Oh, cut. Tommy, dude. You have to see him to say hi to him. He never got it. Ask me how I solved the problem.
How did you solve the problem?
Oh, thank you. I put 2 grips right off the frame in the background. When I cued him, they jumped up in the air and screamed, and Tommy looked up and went, oh, hi, Mark. And that's how I solved that problem.
So that's why he looks up.
And that's why he looked up. Tommy will no doubt deny all of this, but Tommy is lying.
Yeah, so you haven't talked to him since?
I have sent emails, which I have kept copies of. I have made phone calls, which I have made recordings of. Tommy will not talk to me because I quit on his last day. My girlfriend was shooting stills. When they had the rep party, he invited her, but not me, which is pretty hilarious. Mm-hmm. And he told her at the rap party, and I couldn't go because I was already on another project shooting. I couldn't go, and he said, well, we like you, but we don't like Sandy because he quit. Well, too bad. I still directed your movie for you.
Right.
Right.
And but do you think he was always going to take the credit for it? Even if you stayed to the end?
No, I thought he would put, either a co-director or directed by or something. Because he never directed a single frame of it, and anything else is lying. It would be one thing to say, Sandy, here is a pile of money for you to sign a contract that says, I directed the movie and you will never speak up about this. Paying for my silence. Well, this happens in Hollywood pretty much on a daily basis. There was never anything like that. There was never anything saying blah, blah, blah. However, I have heard him say on many occasions, in front of witnesses, well, if this movie ever makes any money, I'll be sure you're compensated. The movie's making money.
Yeah.
I never got compensated. I'm not raising an issue. My primary motivation, when EW called me, I was sitting on the set with Malcolm McDowell, a good friend, shooting a show called Franklin and Bash, and Malcolm is hearing me grouse about this. Tommy lying. He goes, well, Entertainment Weekly wants to talk to you. Go tell your story. Okay, I will. And I told my story.
Well, how did they find it? Because are you telling
I'm not exactly sure how they found out. There were a lot of people who've heard me grouse and bitch about this over the years. Only because somebody will go, oh my God, this movie, The Room. Hey, didn't you direct that? Listen to what Tommy says. Now, I don't care how bad it is, or how good it is, or how bizarre it is. I don't like liars. And the truth is, I directed it, good or bad, it was me. Now, I would not mind terribly if some other guy directing a $2 or $3 million project says, wow, if Sandy Schklair could do that to The Room, imagine what he could do for us. And I could direct more projects. I love being a script supervisor, but I also like to direct. There is nothing wrong with this attitude.
Right.
Right.
No.
Yeah, lead to something. Who knows what?
As a fan of the movie, I'm not surprised that he takes the credit for it, because it's all part of his mystique and all that.
His mystique. He lies about his age. I'm not sure what his age is, but it is not what he claims it is.
What does he say?
40-something?
Oh.
Yeah, no. No. Tommy is older than me, and I'm 53 now. Tommy is older than me, and that was 8 years ago.
If you ask him where he's from, he freaks out and closes down.
You don't get anything. My best guess, having spent all that time with him, I don't know. And this is not hard and fast facts. This is my guess. My best guess is some wealthy European oil family, industrial family, some family with, like the Hiltons, whatever, that have a mountain of money, probably Romania, Transylvania, not the vampire stuff, there is a Transylvania. I shoot in Eastern Europe all the time.
Right.
Bulgarian, somewhere out there, they had this wild child named Tommy, and they say, here, you want to be a movie guy? Here's a big bag of money, millions, no doubt. Go to America, never come back. And I'm sure it's something like that, but that's my best guess. Everybody makes their guess.
He said it's $6 million. Is that possible?
I don't find that possible at all. Not even in the slightest. He doesn't know the word rent, so he walked into Burns & Sawyer and bought. Thrilling Burns & Sawyer.
He bought all the equipment?
Everything. Nobody in Hollywood buys. We rent, because equipment goes obsolete in about 3 days. You rent. No, not Tommy. He goes in and buys, which is probably how Raphael ended up on the project. Raphael probably owed a favor or two to Burns & Sawyer. This is my repayment of your favor. I'll direct this thing for 30 days or until he can't return it, and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know, but yeah, he bought everything. There could not have been more, I don't know, than $1 million, $1.5 million worth of equipment on that stage ever. So, I don't know, add in some salaries. No, I don't see it being $6 million. However, with all the promotional stuff he did, and he does promote the hell out of it.
The billboards alone.
The billboards, all the rest. Yeah, I have no idea how that money works out. Maybe not. But like I said, I won't take that away from him. Tommy produced it. Tommy promoted it. Tommy shoved this down the throats of America. Good for him. But he didn't direct it.
What about the scene with Tommy's girlfriend and his best friend Mark, and they're on the spiral staircase having sex?
Okay. This is a love scene without Tommy. I directed this. I thought it was rather tasteful. I thought it was kind of nice. Now, I learned how to direct love scenes from Zalman King. 9.5 Weeks, Wild Orchid, all the Red Shoe Diaries stuff, Chromium Blue in Spain, which I did for him for 7 or 8, 9 months in Spain. Zalman King is probably the finest director of love scenes on the planet, I think, in my opinion. Shooting and working for him for many years, I believe I learned how to...
Okay, guys, because I'm only allowed to record for 45 minutes. I'm gonna stop it there, but I will play the rest of that. I will do another podcast with the rest of that on there, and then I'll probably talk about some other stuff on that podcast as well. So this is just it's gonna be a 2-part episode, but what I'll leave you with now is the audio from that scene, that famous rooftop scene they were talking about. And I've played audio from that on this podcast before, but I'll do it again.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hey, Johnny, what's up?
I have a problem with Lisa. She said that I hit her.
What?
Okay. That acting is fucking terrible. I'm Timmy James. I don't give a fuck. And see ya.
The Timmy James Show. Yeah. The Timmy James Show. The Timmy James Show. Yeah. 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 Come on. Don't fuck with me. Yeah. The Timmy James Show. You hear what the I don't give a fuck. I'm Timmy James. I don't give a fuck if I'm thinking any name. I'm Timmy James. I don't give a fuck about what you say.